they just have no realistic prospect of owning their own home. And the home ownership rate now for people who are under 40 has dropped to only 25%. Yeah, that's really a big priority for us, and it's crazy that currently something between 40 and 50,000 kids go to hospital every year with respiratory and infectious diseases.
How many?
40 to 50,000.
You're kidding me?
Yeah, and every winter about 1,600, mostly older New Zealanders, die premature deaths because of cold, damp homes and poverty.
You know, I heard a figure that a kid who's diagnosed with rheumatic fever will end up costing the health system about $1 million over their life, and they'll probably end up dying at about 55, 60 anyway. So those 40 or 50,000 kids you talked about, is it pretty easy to sort of address this problem by just putting a heat pump in and insulating?
That's right. You know, I mean, doctors and drugs can't solve these problems. It's about the environment. So we've got to ensure that, you know, most of the kids who are growing up below the poverty line, they're in private rental housing, and it's pretty poor quality. So now these kids, when they get these lung infections and so on, often they end up with permanent lung damage that shortens their lifespan and leaves them with a lifetime of vulnerability to chest infections and so on. So we're a better country than this, and we can fix it just by setting decent minimum standards for insulation, for heating and ventilation that will make homes warm and dry.
You know, what does a heat pump cost these days? $1,500?
Yeah, a couple of thousand maybe.
So it's not too much to ask a landlord to actually spend a couple of $1,000s and put a heat pump in, is it?
That's right, and I think that you know, you might spend, let's say, $3,000 to $5,000 meeting the standards to put in a heat pump or two and some insulation. But actually, a rental property over the lifetime of that, the heating and the insulation, which may be 15 to 20 years, rental properties will generate hundreds and hundreds of thousands of dollars of revenue. So it's a pretty small expense.
Absolutely.
But you know, it's about doing the right thing and doing the decent thing for our children and future generations.